Hola and welcome to ProSpanish. We're going to get started straight away so that you can see just how easily you can learn advanced Spanish even if you're a complete beginner. We're going to begin with some quite straightforward language, and if it is completely new to you, then that's fine as well. Just follow the flow of the lesson. Okay, so to go out is salir. Think of to sally forth is to go out. So salir is to go out, salir. To play tennis is jugar al tenis. Jugar al tenis, to play tennis. And all the sports are very easy, so to play football is jugar al fútbol. To play hockey, jugar al hockey. To play rugby, jugar al rugby. To go to the beach is ir a la playa. Nice and easy, la playa, the beach. To go to the beach, ir a la playa. To do it is hacerlo. All together though, it's hacerlo. So the lo is the it, just stuck onto the end of the word. Hacer is to do. So hacerlo, all one word, to do it. Hacerlo. To prepare the dinner, we'd probably say to prepare dinner. Preparar la cena. La cena, the dinner. Preparar la cena. To prepare the dinner. Going back to hacerlo, to do it, can you see how we would say to prepare it? To prepare it, I'm not talking about the dinner here, it could be anything. To prepare it, what would that be? Prepararlo. Prepararlo. To prepare it. Prepararlo. Okay. To pick it up, recogerlo. We've got the lo, the it at the end. Recogerlo, to pick it up. Recoger is to pick up. Recogerlo, to pick it up. And this is in the sense of to collect something, to go and pick something up from the shop. And in our final column, just a few simple things again. Hoy is today. Hoy. Contigo is with you. Contigo, with you. Al final, in the end. So al final, in the final. Al final, in the end. Okay, let's just do a couple of things with those two columns to get a bit more familiar with the language. How would you say to do it in the end? What would that be? Put those two things together. To do it in the end. Hacerlo al final. Hacerlo al final. How would you say to play tennis with you? Jugar al tenis contigo. Jugar al tenis contigo. And of course, if you need to, pause the video to give yourself some thinking time so that you can answer before you hear it from me. How would you say to play football today? What would that be? To play football today. Jugar al fútbol hoy. Jugar al fútbol hoy. Okay, let's go to the first column. And this is where we have our advanced stuff. It's using the subjunctive. But the beauty of this approach is that you don't need to understand the complex grammar to be able to use the advanced structures. So I'm going to add some grammar observations as we're going through the language, but you can let that go right over your head if you're not interested, and you'll still be able to use all the language. Okay, so the first little bit there is I don't think they can. Well, more precisely is I don't think that they can. So no creo, I don't think. No creo que, I don't think that. No creo que puedan, I don't think that they can. Okay, I don't think that they can. So puedan is the they can bit, and we'll come to that in a second. The next bit is no parece que quieran. No parece que quieran. So no parece que means it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like, whatever it might be. No parece que, and quieran, they want. No parece que quieran. It doesn't look like they want, whatever it might be. And the next one down is nadie cree que vayan a. No one or nobody thinks they are going to do whatever. So nadie cree que, no one thinks that. We might also say nobody believes that. Nobody thinks that. Nadie cree que vayan a. They are going to. So nobody thinks that they are going to do whatever it might be. Okay, and just a simple observation here. The reason why we have this so-called subjunctive is if you look at the words they can, it's puedan, and the usual things beginners would be used to, usually you'd be used to they can as pueden, ending in en. The same for quieran, they want, you would be used to this as being quieren as a beginner, meaning they want. And for they are going to, you would be used to seeing van a. And if you're a complete beginner, then you won't have those assumptions anyway. And the reason why it's changed from pueden to puedan and from quieren to quieran, kind of almost like the opposite ending, is because the subjunctive form is required after these, we could call them triggers, these phrases that trigger the subjunctive, which is no creo que, no parece que, and nadie cree que. And we'll come back to that in a bit. But as I said before, you don't really need to know any of that to be able to use this language, which is of course how a child would learn it in the first place. They would use the language confidently without knowing anything about the subjunctive. Okay, let's start off by listening and trying to work out what I'm saying. No creo que puedan ir a la playa hoy. No creo que puedan ir a la playa hoy. What did that mean? I don't think they can go to the beach today. How about no parece que quieran hacerlo al final. No parece que quieran hacerlo al final. What does that mean? It doesn't look like they want to do it in the end. How about nadie cree que vayan a recogerlo hoy. Nadie cree que vayan a recogerlo hoy. No one thinks they are going to pick it up today. And we'll just take a brief pause there while I mention our incredibly popular all-in-one special offer. This takes the complete beginner or near beginner right up to a conversational level of Spanish in a series of very easy to follow steps. Now, all the lessons on this YouTube channel are supplementary, whereas the core levels 1 to 6 is very much a step-by-step program delivered by the same teacher, by me. And while the teaching style is very similar to what you'll be used to from these videos on the channel, the key difference is that every lesson carefully builds on the previous lessons, so you can really feel that sense of progress of going from little or no Spanish up to a level where you can confidently hold a conversation in Spanish. As soon as you complete your purchase, you are sent a download email. The download is yours to keep and you can use it on any of your devices. And this is available exclusively on prospanish.co.uk. Okay, so let's get back to our lesson. How about no parece que quieran ir a la playa contigo? No parece que quieran ir a la playa contigo. It doesn't look like they want to go to the beach with you. Okay, we'll just do some pyramid listening to help reinforce this. So let's just have a listen and we will build it up.
No parece que quieran.
No parece que quieran.
Okay, so
No parece que quieran.
we've heard that a few times. No parece que quieran. No parece que quieran. And that meant it doesn't look like they want. No parece que quieran. Okay, let's hear the next bit building on that.
No parece que quieran hacerlo.
No parece que quieran hacerlo. No parece que quieran hacerlo.
No parece que quieran hacerlo. And that meant it doesn't look like they want to do it. Let's listen again.
No parece que quieran hacerlo.
Okay, let's hear the final bit.
No parece que quieran hacerlo al final.
Oh, it's very fast. Try again.
No parece que quieran hacerlo al final.
No parece que quieran hacerlo al final.
And let's show that. No parece que quieran hacerlo al final. No parece que quieran hacerlo al final. Let's see the English. It doesn't look like they want to do it in the end. Okay, we'll do another one now. And reminder that there are, in the all-in-one Pro Spanish course, there are 600 of these included, these pyramids.
No creo que puedan.
No creo que puedan. No creo que puedan.
So, no creo que puedan. No creo que puedan. What did that mean? No creo que puedan. I don't think they can. A bit more literally, it would be I don't think that they can. Listen again.
No creo que puedan.
No creo que puedan. Okay, the next one.
No creo que puedan ir a la playa. No creo que puedan ir a la playa.
Okay, so it's very fast, but of course this is a way to get used to Spanish spoken at a fast speed. One more time.
No creo que puedan ir a la playa.
No creo que puedan ir a la playa. I don't think they can go to the beach.
No creo que puedan ir a la playa hoy.
No creo que puedan ir a la playa hoy.
No creo que puedan ir a la playa hoy. And that means I don't think they can go to the beach today. Okay, so we'll go back to the grid that we had before and let's swap it around so that you do some speaking. Okay, so looking at the grid, how would you say, I don't think they can, or I don't think that they can do it today? What would that be? No creo que puedan hacerlo hoy. No creo que puedan hacerlo hoy. And going back just briefly to the grammar thing we talked about before, the subjunctive. So the subjunctive is triggered here because it's when there's a lack of certainty about something happening. So I don't think that. And you can see they're all negative. I don't think that. It doesn't look like. and nobody or no one thinks. If these were positive phrases, we wouldn't have the subjunctive. So if it was just I think they can, it would be creo que pueden, the usual indicative they can that you will have learnt if you've been learning for a little while now. So pueden, they can, normal, we could say, and puedan, subjunctive. And if it was it looks like, then it wouldn't need the subjunctive. It's only when it doesn't look like, because it shows that there's a lack of certainty that something's going to happen. Okay, but as I said before, we don't need to know that. We can still use all of that without knowing about the subjunctive. Okay, how would you say nobody thinks that they are going to prepare the dinner today? Nadie cree que vayan a preparar la cena hoy. Nadie cree que vayan a preparar la cena hoy. How about, it doesn't look like they want to play tennis in the end. No parece que quieran jugar al tenis al final. No parece que quieran jugar al tenis al final. How would you say, I don't think they can pick it up today? What would that be? No creo que puedan recogerlo hoy. No creo que puedan recogerlo hoy. And the great thing about this approach is how we can mix things around. So if we're looking at the first column, how do you think we would say, I don't think they want? I don't think that they want, whatever it might be. What would that be? No creo que quieran. No creo que quieran. So how would you say, I don't think they want to go to the beach with you? What would that be? No creo que quieran ir a la playa contigo. No creo que quieran ir a la playa contigo. How about, how would we say, it doesn't look like they are going to? What would that be? No parece que vayan a, whatever it might be. So, how would you say, it doesn't look like they're going to go out in the end? What would that be? No parece que vayan a salir al final. No parece que vayan a salir al final. So we've packed a lot in. Obviously, in the levels 1 to 6 course, we go through everything much more step by step, but I wanted to give you an idea of how quickly you can get into advanced Spanish. And before we get into the part for our more advanced subscribers, another reminder that the levels 1 to 6 ProSpanish course is only available at prospanish.co.uk, the official site for ProSpanish. Okay, so this part for the more advanced subscribers. The verbs will stay the same, so infinitive verbs, and the final column will just change it to with her, con ella, and sin permiso, without permission, sin permiso, without permission. We're going to add there. And our first column is subjunctive again, but for a different reason. So if you just cast your eye down and look at the first word of the English, it's all don't. And if you have a don't in Spanish, so a negative command, a negative imperative, then that verb will be the subjunctive. So our first one is don't you dare, whatever it might be, no te atrevas a, whatever it might be. If the phrase was you don't dare do that, which isn't a command, it's more like I bet you won't do that, then it would be no te atreves, the indicative. But as this is a command, is don't you dare, then it's no te atrevas a, whatever it might be. Next is don't forget to, no te olvides de, and then the infinitive, don't forget to. Now here it's a reflexive verb, no te olvides de. We could also say no olvides. There's not a huge amount of difference between the two. The no te olvides has a bit more emphasis. The de has to accompany the verb if it's the reflexive. So if it's no te olvides, you have to have the de before the next verb. If it's not reflexive, so if you were just saying no olvides, then there's no de. No olvides llamar a Carla. Don't forget to call Carla. But no te olvides de llamar a Maria. Don't forget to call Maria. No insistas en, don't insist on, whatever it might be. So again, negative command. And don't try. No intentes. So if you're not familiar with how the subjunctive is formed, it's very straightforward in the cases given below. You can just see that the ending is, in inverted commas, the opposite of what you might expect it to be. So normally it would be, the indicative is atreves, so the opposite of that is atrevas. And olvides, it would normally be olvidas, you forget, etc. Okay, so let's, I will say some phrases and you work out what's being said. No te olvides de preparar la cena hoy. No te olvides de preparar la cena hoy. Don't forget to prepare dinner today. No intentes hacerlo con ella. No intentes hacerlo con ella. Don't try to do it, or don't try doing it with her. No te atrevas a ir a la playa sin permiso. No te atrevas a ir a la playa sin permiso. Don't you dare go to the beach without permission. Or don't you dare to go to the beach without permission. No insistas en salir con ella. No insistas en salir con ella. Don't insist on going out with her. No te olvides de recogerlo hoy. No te olvides de recogerlo hoy. Don't forget to pick it up today. No intentes salir sin permiso. No intentes salir sin permiso. Don't try to go out without permission. No insistas en jugar al tenis con ella. No insistas en jugar al tenis con ella. Don't insist on playing tennis with her. Okay, let's swap around and you try and do some of these now. Don't try to pick it up without permission. What would that be? No intentes recogerlo sin permiso. No intentes recogerlo sin permiso. Don't you dare to go to the beach with her. What would that be? Or don't dare go to the beach with her. No te atrevas a ir a la playa con ella. No te atrevas a ir a la playa con ella. And what would it be if it was, I bet you won't go to the beach with her. So, you don't dare go to the beach with her. So not a command. What would that be? No te atreves a ir a la playa con ella. So it's ES rather than AS. No te atreves a ir a la playa con ella. How about, don't forget to do it today. What would that be? No te olvides de hacerlo hoy. No te olvides de hacerlo hoy. How about, don't insist on going out with her. No insistas en salir con ella. No insistas en salir con ella. And that concludes today's Pro-Spanish lesson. As mentioned earlier, if you're looking to become a confident and a competent speaker of Spanish, then head over to prospanish.co.uk where you can download the full Levels 1 to 6 course.